I've dreamed about this since I was a little kid.
What we do here in space somehow says to kids, wow, don't you want to be an astronaut? Don't you think you could do this? Somehow they look at us and they think they could do this.
To bring things up to the station with us. And at the same time, you know, they thought ahead. We have every drug imaginable.
And so I'm taking some of those drugs.
I thought it was especially appropriate because when I'm flying up there, I really feel like Peter Pan. Like if you think about that, you know, that fairy dust and suddenly you could fly, that's what I felt like up there. What I felt like up there.
So it's a long time to be away from family. It's actually a magical place to spend that time in.
And we are prying this information literally from the souls of those explorers that go off into the wilderness.
You ain't gonna be able to hide from NASA.
There's a view from space station of us doing our fly around.
Hard to believe that we actually did this.
So a pretty spectacular view of the station as we were going out, and a curious lighting effect because there's no atmosphere or anything to dim the light. The station is very starkly lit. Again, we're missing a little bit of this because it's in black and white. But the station is very, very bright, very radiant, and then the earth tones beneath it are somewhat muted. So it almost looks like it's fake, like it's two pieces of film put together. But it is a beautiful thing. And then we bade farewell to the station as the sun set on it.
Okay, we understand that.
Okay, and as you start the X translation, you're initially going to be able to see the orbiter and the ice. But as you move closer, you're going to eventually lose sight of the ice. Probably you'll lose sight of it about 2 feet away from it, and that's just because the camera is positioned about 20 inches above the point of resolution. So the camera will be looking over the ice as you get close to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and of course the important thing there is not to try and fly it down to keep the ice in view, because that'll get you real close to the wing.
Roger.
And I guess the only other thing, which is probably going to be obvious to you from your elbow camera when you take a look at it, you can check the clearance from the door as you start from the elbow camera, but you're going to lose sight of the end effector going under the door. That dump port is about 4 feet under the wing, so you're not going to be able to see the arm from about the wrist yaw joint on. It's going to be under the doors.
Okay, I'm sitting up in Henry's seat, and I can see a little bit out the window. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to see of that.
That may be the best view of it. That and the side hatch window, you may be able to see something too.
Okay.
That's about all I've got.
Okay. We'll let you know how it works.
Okay. Sorry you have to try this.
gives you a chance to see what the flight deck looks like a little bit on orbit, rather like a large airliner.
Of course, we were manually flying the machine from about 9/10 Mach number on down.
Yeah, advance won't say so, but as you see on a second, 2 red and 2 white lights means you're right on the glide path. You did a super job of bringing the airplane in and landing it.
And we bring it in then for going down closer to the runway where we break the rate of descent even further. The orbiter flies extremely well. I was quite pleased with it. It's a good, solid handling airplane.
Planned, which essentially let the airplane coast until we were down to 130 knots, then applied the brakes moderately hard to stop the airplane, and we used up a total.
Got our legs under us and came out and looked at it. It was an extremely clean airplane, as you've probably seen in the pictures. It came through in fine style, minimum tile damage, and the systems on board were in extremely good shape. So we're real proud of it. It's a welcome addition to our fleet. We now have 3 airplanes in our national transportation fleet, and I think we're in a position now that the agency can really go get serious about flying.
Settle in for landing. This is kind of a neat series of pictures coming through the skyline. You notice it started out blue and it's turning to kind of the pink glow of the early morning dawn. There was no turbulence. It was really a beautiful morning to land an airplane out at Edwards. Dick made superb calls, altitude airspeed calls, which allowed me just to concentrate on flying the airplane and not worry about how the energy was coming out. And we landed on Lakebed runway 23, which we've landed on previously with the program. We had, with that wind, we had a fairly short rollout, about 6,100 foot, I believe it was, rollout distance. We used moderate braking, and to date, at least, we have not learned of any damage that was done to the brake system. I think we also felt, as a crew, we felt about as good as any crew, I think, has after landing. We recovered, readapted to 1G very rapidly, felt good, ran around, looked at the airplane, found very little damage on the airplane. I think to summarize the mission, I think it's fair to say that I feel anyway that it was just a tremendous team effort.
I thought we were experiencing about 10 Gs, and Roman said, okay, there's 0.1 G now. And it really, really hits you pretty hard, but it's very fascinating.
Very well, actually.
Great, lovely to be talking to you today.
Where is the... I guess with the International Space Station constantly moving, can you tell me where the space station is at this moment? What are you guys seeing outside right now?
We're starting to look around because we need to double check. We've both been working pretty diligently all day, so we haven't looked out in the window in a few hours. We can tell you we're 400 kilometers above the Earth, and since I'm in the Navy, I like to say we're 220 nautical miles above the Earth.
Works for me. This was your first trip to space. Can you walk me through your feelings and thoughts as you were launching?
getting ready to go to work, Doug Hurley. We haven't been up there very long. And after Doug Hurley, we haven't been up there very long. And after a couple days, it's time to go ahead and find this thing called the space stations.
And I have to tell you, I looked at this and there was a little bit of a conflict in my head as my brain said this is not possible, but my eyes were seeing it. And I can tell you that it's really there.
There's a tremendous rush involved with this particular experience, as you might imagine.
Corner of the picture, which was a position that Anna had put it in to assist in our station keeping task.
And notice
corner of the picture, which was a position that Anna had put it in to assist in our station keeping task.
And notice
corner of the picture, which was a position that Anna had put it in to assist in our station keeping task.
And notice
We had a peculiar phenomena occur during one of our supply water dumps. We dump water overboard that's either not needed for cooling or consumption by the crew. You can see in the upper left corner here is the supply water dump nozzle with a stream of water coming out. What's building here is an icicle that formed on the outside of the cargo bay door, which is off the picture to the right. And the icicle formed and would have continued formation probably right up to the dump nozzle had we not stopped the dump at about this time. Now watch the plug here. This is a look at the entire icicle after it had formed about 6 feet long off the payload bay door, and that part of that ice remained all the way through the entry until post-landing. It was still on the vehicle. That ice remained all the way through the entry until post-landing. It was still on the vehicle.
There in the solar arrays. Obviously slightly sped up. Not a lot though, I flew it pretty fast.
We just really enjoyed being back on Earth. They even brought a little grass out there for us.
You can't really let yourself believe that you're going to space.
You ain't gonna be able to hide from NASA.
We have every drug imaginable.
And I've dreamed about this since I was a little kid.